were Parler and GameStop.
100%.
Okay, so this would be a good segue to move on. Apparently, we had a discussion on the last episode about running for governor. And I bought the domain name governorchamath.com. I had governorjason.com. I got Governor Sacks and governorfriedberg.com. And I redirected them, and you guys own them, and they're redirected to your Twitter handles. And lo and behold, we wake up one day, and Chamath for CA is live. Chamath, everybody wants to know.
Jump the gun. We were going to have a vigorous debate and decide which one
who was going to run, but somebody jumped in. And I'm not saying other besties might not jump in. Other besties could jump in. They have domains.
TBD. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
No, Jason, we do not want to split the bestie vote. I think we got all the besties.
Lock in? Okay.
This is the four musketeers. We're all behind Chamath now. We do not want to split the bestie vote. So Chamath, it's on you. Tell us what's going to happen now.
What's going to happen?
Is this where we cut the podcast, right?
Yes, we are going to do an emergency pod and talk about exactly that. So if folks want to know, they're going to have to tune in midweek. But
midweek, we have to do another pod?
Emergency pod.
Well, let's talk about the website you put out.
Pod coming up.
We'll wrap on this, the website. You put out a platform. What's the reaction been? And has the reaction been positive enough to make you want to do it?
Three guys.
Midweek.
No, I want to be very clear. Midweek. But I'll just tell the quick story is three young people, these three amazing guys they built it. And I just retweeted it. I can say that tens of thousands of people have signed up for updates. I know that much. All these three guys though, if I can tell a shout out to these guys, Rahul, Samir, and Aman. All these three guys, they don't live in California. Two did, but had to leave. One wants to move, but can't because he can't afford it. And it's just such a microcosm of like how beautiful California as a place is, and just what people think about when they think about this state is just it's so lovely. So for another time. But anyway, shout out to those guys for building the website. Thank you.
So essentially, the entire market has now been driven by a group of the All In Army built a website. You retweeted it. And that's what this is all about. So there has been no paperwork filed. There is no action committee. However, it has traction. So it makes one wonder.
And, there may be a shadow cabinet meeting. Maybe not.
A shadow
there may or may not be. There may be a shadow cabinet meeting happening.
What is the chances?
Well, I think Chamath, by publishing that website, just went down the escalator.
Wow! It was the golden escalator? Golden escalator moment.
He's gone down the escalator, and who knows what could happen now. I'll tell you this. I went on, I'll do a plug. I went on Bloomberg.
Amazing
this
hit.
week.
Amazing hit.
Great
Amazing hit.
It's on YouTube. We can put the link in the show notes. Yeah. Put the link in the show notes, Nick. People need to watch that. I went through all the ways in which California is hurting. Newsom hasn't done a very good job, and I made my case for Chamath. So that's a prelude to what we'll talk about on the next pod. But the amazing thing is the outpouring. I mean, the number of people who have texted me, emailed me, and Chamath and all of us, like there's a groundswell happening now.
100%.
So, I would say all the fans of the pod who are now behind this, you guys are making it real.
Friedberg,
it's pretty crazy.
Manifest Destiny here. What's going on? Is this another wisdom of the crowds or a mob or a movement?
Who am I to say?
Are you all in as chief science officer? Will you be our Dr. Fauci?
I think we should have a good debate on our next pod and hear the platform and discuss the platform and, make sure that we all feel like this is where we should be. And I think this is going to take a little bit of time to build. And I think, the more we kind of build towards it, the more likely we are to have that groundswell that we're going to need.
Well, let's give the all in.
I will tell you, it seems pretty likely that this recall effort is going to get the signatures it needs. So we can kind of put that in the sand that it's very likely we're going to end up seeing a recall election.
Okay, so if people want to participate in Recall Gavin Newsom, what do they do? Because that is the first step towards
absolutely.
A Chamath governorship.
You gotta go to rescuecalifornia.org. Rescuecalifornia.org. Go to that website, sign the petition. That is the first step. We only need a few 100,000 more signatures. We have 1.2 million. We need 1.5 million. Go there, sign up, and then go to Chamath's website, which is chamath4ca.com. And sign first mailing list.
Jason, I'll make one more point. And I think, and I made this the other day on that Clubhouse that Sacks and I did. I think I made it before you joined. If you think about the difference between a leader and a manager is someone who typically delegates responsibility and authority. A leader is effective at synthesizing multiple people's points of view and creates an opportunity, defines a vision, defines an objective that is the synthesis of all the people that report to him, and for whom he is responsible, or she. And I think what we've seen in California in particular, and really across leadership positions or governing positions across the country during this pandemic, is a failure of leadership. Because when times are predictable, if A, then B, it is easy to manage and it is easy to look successful. I delegate down to the person who knows best and they are responsible for the outcome and they do it well. Great. All I'm doing is pointing to the right person to run something. The pandemic is difficult and it is unpredictable. It requires a synthesis of economic information, social information, and health information. And more often than not, a person who typically acts like a manager points to the person they think should be in charge under the circumstance to make a decision, and that person is not equipped to synthesize the economic and social ramifications of the decision. So what we have seen during the pandemic is most often people in a governing position have pointed to the health officer or the medical person and said, you make the decision. And that person does not necessarily account for the social and economic ramifications of the decision they're making. A health person knows how to save lives. The best way to save lives is shut everything down. And so the test of leadership during this pandemic has been a test of synthesis and recommending an action that's associated with the understanding of the social, economic, and health implications of what's going on. And that's really where so many governing bodies and individuals have fallen apart during this pandemic, is an inability to do that effectively. And I think that is what is needed going forward. It is a moment of test. It is a moment of truth about the difference between a manager and a leader. And we're seeing across the nation who is what. And I think it is highlighting why some folks may not be best suited to do this. The second thing I'll say, and I know I'm on a little bit of a diatribe, but the second thing I'll say is career politics.
We've been waiting for your diatribe, by the way. It took 19 episodes. Go.
Career politicians, I think, simply should not exist. If you go back to the origins of this country, right, having your place in government, and we talked about this over email, having your place in government was meant to be something that everyone was supposed to take their turn doing. And the people that were sitting in political seats, it was supposed to be the merchant and the local farmer and the banker. And we were all supposed to take our turn representing our communities, representing our people in government. And what we've seen is people who have made a career out of being a politician. And the result of that is that their job depends on them getting reelected. In order to remain in their career, they have to get reelected, and they ultimately end up making trade-offs that don't necessarily represent the best long-term interest of their community. And this is broadly true across nations, across centuries. But it's particularly acute in the United States, where we've seen such wealth creation over the last 250 years. And what's happened is when you have career politicians sitting in these seats for so long in an environment of severe wealth creation, you end up having governments that are ineffective and creating systems that fail us. And here we are. And what we need is to have someone go in that's not dependent on the traditional folks that get people elected and fund elections and result in re-elections. We need someone that can go in as an outsider and make a change. And so my advocacy for what's needed in California, and I think nationally, and that's a longer conversation, is to find those types of folks to come in and lead and be politicians that can take a leadership role, synthesize information, and not be worried about the re-election cycle and not have anything to lose related to a career in politics. So I'm done.
On that note, I want to say I love all of you. And let's do our emergency pod on Tuesday. Do you guys want to play poker tonight?
I'm still in town. I was playing that original graduation.
Can you guys come down?
My mom's in town.
You can't come.
My parents got vaccinated.
Saxipoo, can you?
My parents got vaccinated.
Yeah, I can play.
Oh, here we go.
Maybe a little.
I'll see you guys at
wants to play. He just
one note. If you do fill out, if you go to rescuecalifornia.org, is that the name? Sax?
Yes.
If you go there, you print out the petition. and you hold it up and take a selfie with your signature on it, and you at the besties, we will like it, possibly retweet it, and possibly follow you. So go ahead and take a picture of your printout with your name on it, and that proves that you're part of the All In Army. And we will like it, we might follow you, and we might even retweet you. You could get even 4 besties. Love you. And we'll see you all next time on the All In Podcast.
On the All In Podcast. Bye-bye.
See you at Couples Therapy tomorrow.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the All In Pod.
Baby, I'm the rain man. I'm the rain man. I wet my beat in the morning. Protect free speech.
A billion here, a billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about real money.
I'm the rain man. I wet my beat in the morning. No code 13 in the evening.
Love you, Sacks.
These are really big numbers. To spread the opportunity that technology represents. We're probably going to have 4 Kardashians on there, so not 4 besties on there.